Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Tuesday Evening Happy Hour with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here at Back to Basics Dog Training, and each and every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I bring you this live free dog training Q&A session where all your questions about your dog's behaviors are attempted to be answered. This week is a special episode. I have a special guest on with me. She's joined us on our lives before. Um, Phyllis, whose dog is Junior. Phyllis has Junior for a little bit over a year now, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll get more details on that in a few seconds once I bring her on live with us. And Junior's showing some insecurities that we want to try to help guide him through so he has that happy, balanced life that he so richly deserves. So remember, if you're watching now live or in later on the replay, give me a shout out. Let me know you're here. And of course, make sure you give some props to Phyllis for coming on live with me tonight. Um, and with that being said, I'm going to introduce Phyllis and bring her on camera now. So everybody, please welcome Phyllis. Phyllis, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Oh,
Good
I turned my volume back on. I turned my volume off when I was listening to the 59-second countdown. It was bothering
evening.
me. So, Phyllis, you have Junior. You've been a regular listener of mine now for the past 6 months or
About
so, I
a
would guess.
year, actually.
Oh,
Been,
wow. Thank you. Um,
Mhm.
and, she's asked her questions via typing method. This is a better way to do it. This way we can really dive into her issues. And again, guys, if you have any questions, I will get to them. But right now, the first part of this Q&A session is going to be devoted to Phyllis. Unless you have a question for Phyllis regarding Junior, otherwise I will get to the questions later. In the email you sent me, and I know in some of our conversations, you adopted Junior or got Junior a little over about a year and 5 months ago, 6 months ago now.
Yeah. Actually, I got him February 22.
Okay, so that was
As I
close.
got him in February 22 as a foster to adopt, so to speak, because from what I understood from the rescue, he did have certain emotional issues. And I kind of saw that when I first met him. When I went and did the meet and greet, he was very reticent to come to me. He didn't want to walk with me. But I guess I fell in love with him or decided I wanted him. And I'd had a rescue before who had some issues, so I felt, why not? And I agreed to the foster to adopt. And just a little bit of the backstory is he had been with a foster, was adopted by somebody, and then was returned and was actually rehomed to me. That's the way it worked. And I actually officially adopted him in August. Um, and the only reason it took a while wasn't so much his behavior issues or whatever the case may be. The reason was because he ended up having two tumors. I discovered one a week after I got him, and until we did the surgery and got that taken care of, and then I discovered a second one. So this all took time because that's how it works. It doesn't happen right away. And both of them turned out to be mast cell tumors. So he does have medical issues, but he's been fine since the second surgery.
Great.
And like Leon said, I've been watching Leon for just about a year. And I guess it's important to give you a little bit on the information because Leon talks about this all the time. I started right off with threshold management and the walk. I watched the videos and I did that. And I just told Leon a little while ago, he's gotten to the point now when I'm ready to go out and he sits at the door and waits for me. He doesn't even wait for me to say that he has to sit. So, and as I told Leon, and I guess we're going to get into this, in the house itself, Junior is, as Leon calls it, a perfect gentleman. He is a very well behaved dog. He's very, he listens, he comes in the house, he does everything in the house is perfect. It's the minute he leaves the house, if he leaves the house. There are times where he doesn't, I'm going to move over, get away from the light. There are times where doesn't even want to go out. He's really a homebody, you know. Sometimes I have to actually pull him a little bit to get him to go out, but the issues are all outside of the house when he meets people, when he meets dogs, whatever the case may be, and I'm sure we're going to get into it. As I told Leon, he doesn't get, that fight attitude. He gets the flight. He wants to run, not run away from me. He wants to turn the other way and come home, or he wants to go the opposite direction of a dog or a person. But it's very interesting. Once he gets to know somebody, he's cool with it. He's great. He's got his best friend is a person across the street who has 4 cats, and my best friend who's probably on here, who is sort of his co-owner, so to speak. I mean, he's fine with them, but it takes a lot for him to get used to people. And I told Lee to book him and have him get along with people and some dogs, whatever the case may be. And that's why I'm here tonight.
Okay. Okay, great. First of all, Joyce reached out and said hi. I hope all is well with both of us. So, Joyce, thank you for joining us. Yeah, and a lot of the things you're describing to me is very common in the rescue world. I know we have a mutual acquaintance, Bonnie, that we both work with. I've done a lot of help with her foster, some of her fosters. My claim to fame is Duke, if everybody remembers Duke. Um, but when you're dealing with fear, and I know we've discussed it a lot in the last few weeks, or insecurity, I don't even like the word fear, it's an insecurity. It's the hardest thing for us to do is not try is to ask the question why. You've had him for a year and a half. You've been trying to socialize him. Why isn't he getting it? This is the question that runs through our heads. And I'm sure that's probably running through your head a little bit. And that why question gets in the way because it's not a why isn't the question why isn't working with instincts, if that makes sense.
Right.
Animals don't ask why. Like, and I hate using this analogy, but a dog doesn't ask a human, why are you mistreating me? They just react to the situation and they're going to react accordingly. Hopefully, if a person's mistreating a dog, they don't bite them. That's just my opinion. Um, but with Junior, he's got this embedded fear. You told me when you, in the email you sent me, you said he was approximately 4 years old when you got him?
No, he was 3 when I got him. According to
Oh,
he just turned 4 May 14th.
okay. So he was 3 years old. So it's 3 years of whatever was going on in his life. I mean, it sounds like he was bounced around from a foster to an adopter, back to the rescue, back to a new foster. What did they give a reason why he was returned?
Um, no, well, actually, the reason that I heard was because she was going back to work full time and traveling. I don't know what the real reason is. And he didn't go back to the rescue. I actually got him from the foster.
Okay.
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 I mean, a young couple, and they were getting married in September, and this was January, and they both had work schedules. From what I understood, though, they did crate him, and not
Hmm.
that he doesn't love it. He loves his crate if he wants to go in his crate. But from what I understand, and this might have affected Leon, I locked him in the crate during the day when they went to work and at night to sleep. And I don't know if that was his choice. And I know from
Right.
everything I hear all over the place, you have to crate train them, not force them.
Right. If you force them into crates, the crate becomes a negative, and negatives are, you know, not good. They both worked 8-hour days in New York City. That's what Bonnie just told us.
That's, thank you.
Uh, yeah, thanks, Bonnie. And welcome, Bonnie. Um, Again, if they're forcing them in the crate, that's always that's an animal abuse. If that's like forcing a child into their bedroom. You make the bedroom a negative thing. You never want to do that. So, but whatever happened in the 3 years prior to you getting him has wired his brain to have these insecurities. And everything I've read about him, things you said on our lives, he's a mush
Oh, yeah, he's a
when
mush.
he's in a comfortable, controlled environment.
Hmm.
So what we need to do is translate one, your house has to be the ultimate of calm, and it is, but we have to translate that to when people come in. Because that's showing you that you trust him. And I'm going to get into a little of our conversation we had before we went live. You still have that fear of the what if with
Yes, I
him.
do. Hmm.
Yeah. And he's sensing that from you every time a stranger comes into your home.
Hmm.
Because the routine right now, and if you don't mind me repeating some of what we said earlier, is ding dong, Junior place. He's not part of the greeting. He's being sent away when somebody's coming into his home.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So right
somewhat.
away, he's already, yeah, he's like, why am I being sent away, mommy? If you want to humanize it. So what I would suggest doing is, and again, set him up for success, never for failure, is ask somebody that he doesn't know to come over, have him on his leash. When that person rings the doorbell, knocks on the door, don't open the door until he's 100% calm. But he is never going to be 100% calm if you're saying, what if?
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. The interesting thing, Leon,
Um,
the interesting thing is sometimes when the person comes over the second or third time, he's much calmer.
right, because now he knows this. When dogs get into an insecure state of mind, or anything but a calm state of mind, they're using their eyesight. Who's that? What is going on? They're not using this. So as they calm down, once that stranger's in the house the first, the second, the third time, they're starting to get the smells of this person, which is their most important sense. So then quicker, oh, okay, that's John. But in the beginning, he's not understanding because when that doorbell rings or somebody knocks on the door, he's hiding. I'm assuming.
Yes.
They,
Hmm.
they also know the person means them no harm. Yeah, they know that by that's what Joyce just said. The person means them no harm because they know that smell now. Um, so one of the things I tell people to do is set them up for success. Have somebody come over. Do not open the door if he's in anything but a calm state of mind,
Hmm.
because you want to reward him for being calm. Then the person on the other side, you have to trust this person, has to come in, and that's the no look, no touch, no talk theory. When they come in, they should not even address anything to Junior. They say,
Hmm.
"Hi, Phyllis, how are you? I greet you. You're the human." Most people greet the dog first. And if the dog is insecure and they go to reach for the dog or address the dog, dogs will be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Um, you should have him on a short leash at this point. If you see as they start walking in, he starts getting that flight mechanism, ask them to stop because he's communicating to you. I'm not comfortable. Okay, you're not comfortable. Let's stop the process. Let's settle back down. Once he's calm, continue the process. So, what he's going to learn is once he's in a calm state of mind, he's going to start doing this. You're going to see it. His nose will start twitching like a rabbit. Oh, okay, this person seems cool. This guy had eggs and bacon for breakfast or whatever. I don't know what the dog actually smells. Um, that this person is okay, and my calm, confident pack leader is telling me it's okay, but you have to trust. And
Hmm.
right now, I think there's a separation with this trust issue.
Yeah, there
You
is
know,
definitely.
I was telling you before we went live that I worked with a customer with this Australian Shepherd yesterday. This Australian Shepherd's insecure, and these people have a nice piece of property. The husband's a contractor. He has workers come over, and this dog, if that's for me, I'm not here. Um, um, this dog growls and barks at the workers. So when I got there, I pull up the driveway and I see her grab the dog by the collar. I'm like, okay. Dog wasn't showing me anything. I get out of my car and then I hear that question: is it okay if I let him go? So of course my answer was yes, it's okay. And I didn't know at this point that he reacted to humans this way, but okay, let your dog go. I'm calm, confident. He came over to me, literally smelt my feet, worked his way up about halfway up my legs. I was like, God, this guy's cool. I'm going to walk away from him now. Because I didn't talk to him, I didn't acknowledge him. I just stayed calm, confident. He felt that energy from me, and he was like, this guy is absolutely no threat. If you have guests come over, and people do this a lot, and you say, Junior may react negative towards you. He may growl at you. He doesn't mean you any harm. They're coming in. They're like, okay, this dog may bite me. Think about now, and then you're worried about it. So think about this energy, this force field that Junior is dealing with. Trust him. That's why I say short leash. So when you have him, he's sitting next to you on a short leash. So even if he tries to do something stupid, he's on a short leash. Where's he going? And that person shouldn't be that close to his personal space at this point. Does that make sense? But it's going to start with
Yes.
you. Calm confidence. I used to say, my mama taught me 100 years ago, breathe in the roses, blow out the candles. You're a popular lady.
Mhm.
um, so again, it starts with you. So have somebody you can have a conversation with before they come in that they can't address Junior at all. They need to be calm. So glass of wine. No, I gotta be careful what I say. Um, have make sure they're in a relaxed state of mind. And when they come in, if you once you pass this part of this is another form of threshold management because we're representing that threshold where people are coming in now is not a fearful state. It's not an excited place. It's a calm place. They come in, they say hello to you, and it doesn't have to be about hugging and kissing because right now I don't want them in Junior's or your personal space. They should walk by and wherever people gather in your home, be it the living room, the den, the kitchen, wherever it may be, they just go in there, they sit down. Then you bring Junior over to them only if he's showing that he's calm.
Mhm. Right.
And then you bring them to him. And you do everything slow and steady is the best pace whenever you deal with anything, because I want you to slow the process down in your own head. And then you bring him over, and it's not about the person petting him. What I would like to see happen is if, say, you're sitting on a couch, you're sitting on the right side, the guest is sitting on the left side, and Junior's in the middle,
Mm.
relaxing.
Right.
It's not about right now. I don't want people interacting with him because it's 3, 4 years of whatever in his brain is not there yet.
Mhm.
So for people to start petting him and trying to make him their BFF, he's not going to like it.
No.
What eventually happens with a lot of these insecure dogs is if you do this rinse and repeat process over and over again, the dog will actually go to that person asking for affection.
Mhm.
That's when the affection can be given.
Well, let me ask you, Leon, because I notice when somebody comes into the house, all right, he barks at first. And I open. He doesn't. I don't get him to sit down like you say, which is what I have to do. But he would bark, and then I open the door. They come in, and he just backs off. He does that flight. He
Right.
just backs
That's why
off.
you need the leash.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Very often, I don't even have to tell him to go to his crate. He backs off and goes into the crate, or
Hmm.
jumps on the couch and waits for me to sit down. It's that's he's got this mechanism of his own to protect himself, I guess, because he's insecure.
Right.
You know. Then if the person were to say, like, I'm sitting on the couch here, and to my left on the side is a recliner. The person usually sits in a recliner, and I sit on the couch, and he gets on the couch next to me, but farthest from the person. But he will never go over to the person while they're here.
Right. But he will if what's happening is his flight mechanism is strong.
Hmm.
I need self-preservation. So that's why I like the leash theory because the leash takes away that flight mechanism. So
Right.
now she has to come up with another solution. But again, it's gonna start with you. Joyce has put in comments like the leash never worked in her case. I didn't read the whole thing. She sent me a whole big thing. I didn't read it yet. Um, but um, if you're not, I've done this with dogs that have this high flight mechanism, and the fear of people with the dog putting the dog on a leash and taking away the flight mechanism is, well, I can't flight. Maybe my next step is fight. They won't get there if you stay calm, confident.
Hmm.
And I know, it's this is not something I just made up. This is something
Right.
almost 50 years of
Hmm.
working with dogs and understanding how they're communicating to us. The flight mechanism is real. I'm not going to take it away. It's not an what's that saying I can't stand? It's not an irrational fear. To them, it's real. So to
Hmm.
me, I can't classify it as irrational. If it's real to them, it's real.
Mhm.
But what I could do is guide them through it, but I can't guide them through it if I'm saying, well, if they can't get away, they might bite the person that just came in. And guess what? I probably create the bite at that point.
Yeah.
So I stay calm, confident. I keep my energy very, very, calm. And again, if the person that I'm working with does the right thing, which is coming into my, and I did this with Duke. Duke was definitely not an insecure dog, but he was overly excited, which could lead to, the mouth hitting people. People came in, they totally ignored him, and you can actually see the like, whoa, why I'm not getting what I normally get. So by keeping him there, and it may be you open the door and he starts showing you something, stop right there. They take a step in, he goes into his flight mode, stop right there. It's doing everything based on what he's communicating to you, and then you're going to overpower his flight mechanism. The more he goes into that flight mode, his energy is here, your calmness has to be even lower. If,
Mhm.
and it's hard. I'm not saying this is easy. This is a lot of years practicing this and doing this and living it and breathing it and, pretty much eat, sleep, and what the other part of it is.
Mhm.
This is my mentality. I told the story before where I got the only time I ever needed stitches, I got 9 stitches in my hand from a dog. And I literally controlled this red zone level 10 dog, which is the worst you can get, with just my energy. The higher he went, when he bit me, he was at a level 10. I tell people, because of the wonderful world of modern technology, this thing tracks your heart rate, this watch. When I got bit, my heart rate went up to 145, I think, beats per minute. Within 1 minute of me being bit, my heart rate was down to 72 beats a minute. So I was able to control that adrenaline. I was able to control my energy to help control the dog. I never touched this dog after he bit me. You know, I didn't grab him. I didn't throw him to the ground. I didn't punch him. I didn't kick him. I actually just stood there like this, and I said no. That's what I said to him. And I focused on me staying calm. And this dog actually, within 2 minutes, submitted to me. And if you know what submission is, they lay on their belly and they expose their belly to you. Within 2 minutes, he submitted to me, and I used nothing but calm confidence. He, when I first walked where he ran, his flight mechanism kicked in. He was down the hallway trapped. I walked him in there. You know, he was spitting fury at me. Okay, but I stayed calm, confident, so he wouldn't bite me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you got to work on those things. So it's harder for you, and that's why I tell people as you're doing this, just focus on one thing: breathe in the roses and blow out the candles, because that will center you.
Mhm.
Once you can start establishing that, okay, now the stranger danger thing is gone, you're going to see other things progress with the walk. But again, on the walk, you can't be thinking about the what ifs.
Mhm.
Change that what if. Visualize it. I don't know your block, where you live. I know you live in Brooklyn. That's about what I can tell you. And I know some of Brooklyn. My grandparents actually owned a toy store in Brooklyn 100 years ago. Um, when you're walking, visualize each, I don't want to say block because it could be short blocks. I don't know if you're on short blocks or long blocks, but
Go down.
picture getting to a certain point with absolutely the most relaxed walk you can have. So
Mhm.
if you come out your building, your house, and you make a left and there's a stop sign at the next, I'm going to get there and this is going to be the best thing in the world.
Mhm.
Not, oh my God, the dog may come out, or a person may start, or a car may backfire, or whatever's going through your head that you may not even know you're going through. Short leash, relax, head up, chest out. Don't worry about him. Use the leash the right way. You feel him if he's doing something through the leash. And just change the vision, change the narrative, rewrite that narrative, whatever the heck the saying is. Visualize getting to that first stop sign.
Mhm. Right.
Yes, we did it.
Ethan,
Yeah.
the thing is going out of the house and walking out of the house, going somewhere. Like I can leave my house, cross the street, walk a block or two, and he decides at that point that either he wants to come home
Mhm.
or he starts pulling me in whatever direction he wants to go. It's
Okay.
sort of like when he's done, he's done. It's
Okay.
not that going out, like you're saying, go to the stop sign. I have no
Right.
trouble going to the stop sign, crossing the street, going down the block. It's when he's done with what he wants to do, whether it be his bodily
That.
functions or whatever the case may be. Hey, it's time to go home because he is so comfortable in the
Mhm.
house. It's like it's his cage. It's his the crate. This is whole house is his
Right.
crate.
So
You know?
when he gets to that stage, and I don't know if you heard me talking about the dog I worked with in this complex that was just terrified, couldn't even get into the hallway. It took me 5, 10 minutes to get. So when they get into that state, this is what happens. This is I need to get out of here. I need to go home. The flight
Mm-hmm.
mechanism kicks in. You got to stop, and you should say with a leash correction, no, because you're in charge. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him to do something else. He's an obedient dog, if I'm not right. So he knows sit.
For the most part, yes, he is.
So
Mm-hmm.
pot, yeah. So I would do nope, sit, wait till you see his mindset change. When he's calm, what I tell people to do, and I did this with this dog here, is okay, you're calm now. We're gonna go the way you wanted to, but then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna go a foot past where you stopped. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then if my vision is getting a foot past, but if he's going with the flow, I'm going to continue to go because now he's in a follower state of mind. When he gets to that one point, whatever it may be, and that's to me, guys, when we talk about threshold management, that is that's a threshold. Wherever he stops is a threshold that we need to cross. Most people, when they see this, they turn around and they listen to what the dog says. At that point, I'm not listening to the dog because the dog is controlling it. We need our dogs to be followers, not dictatorship followers, but followers. And so, okay, I got the right state of mind. Good. I will turn around, walk 3 or 4 feet back in that direction, turn around again, and let's continue going where I wanted to go. And if I get past that 3, 4, 5 feet, I may just at that point make the decision, turn around and go home. But who made the decision?
So you're saying to turn around when he does that. You see, what I've been doing is
No, first,
I've been doing the leash correction and telling him no, let's keep walking, and he does. See, he'll go with me, but I have to
okay,
do a little bit of a leash correction. But maybe if I
okay,
turned,
okay. That
he might
yeah,
realize.
turn around. Yeah, turn around, give him something, but turn around and go back to where you were going anyway. Keeping that this is the best thing in the world. This is better than this is the invention of sliced bread. You know, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be good. We're gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna walk around the block and a whole nother lap, whatever it may be, and just keep the positive energy, calm, confident, positive energy. He will follow. He may get about 10 feet away and say, "Whoa, what the hell's going on?"
Mhm.
Stop, regroup, rinse and repeat. And that's why I said, don't try to get around the block the first time this happens. Make it, a 15-foot win, turn around, go home. The next day, try to go 20 feet. You know what I'm saying? This
Mhm.
is what I did.
Right.
There's one dog that was petrified here. I'm telling you, the dog didn't want to go in the hallway. There's nobody in the hallways usually. We got to a certain point on the walk, and he again knew where the home was, the apartment his unit was, and we get to the way the path worked is you go one way to get back to the apartment or one way to get to the front of the complex, for lack of a better term. He would always try to go to the left to get back to the apartment, or she, I think it was a she. Um, I think it was always trying to get in my office. So she would try to turn left. I'm like, well, you can't do that because she's controlling it. So I took the leash and I went to the right, and she stopped like a foot after went to the right. I'm like, okay, nope, you're not telling me what to do. Sit. She calmed down. I went back to where I started before the fork in the road, for lack of better terms, and then went to the right again. And the first time I'm telling you, maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet further. And she went back to the, whoa, I'm not going. I need to go that way. And we did this for about 20 minutes and she got it. She just
Well,
got it.
I think you told me a while back when I get to the house, I shouldn't go into the house. I should try to get him to go past the house. And I've been trying to do that,
Right.
show him that just because he wants to come home doesn't mean we have to come home.
Right.
Without
And a
without
lot of,
without telling him off that he has to come home. I don't want to
right.
make him feel as if I'm making him do things he really doesn't want to do, because I think that would make him even more insecure and stress him out more.
Right. But see, that's the humanizing of it.
Okay. Hmm.
If you do it with calm confidence, they're going to follow it.
Hmm.
It was the corgi that I worked with a few weeks ago. That was, we were walking back. Who gave this little nothing corgi gave me one of the biggest temper tantrums I've ever dealt with, and I've dealt with Great Danes throwing temper tantrums. This dog was not willing to give up anything to me. It did eventually, but it took me longer than I'm telling you. Well, little dogs can throw temper tantrums longer anyway because it doesn't require as much energy. And as we're walking back to our house, she's like, he's going to bolt up the stairs trying to, get in the house. I'm like, challenge accepted. I just walked right past the house. Dog just followed me. Why? Because he followed the calm, confident energy. So when you're doing it, it's not that you're forcing him, you're guiding him that he doesn't need his big kennel. Trust me, I'm never going to put you in a position that you're going to need to have that mechanism. But you got to build that mutual trust. He's got to trust you, you got to trust him. Because if you don't have both of you trusting each other, how's it going to work?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you need the one, based on everything you wrote down here, growling to me is not aggression. Barking is not
No.
aggressive. He doesn't make the forward motion. He's not going to willingly bite a person or a dog based on what I'm understanding. But what's going to happen is if you stay calm, confident, and you control the people that, no, you cannot come into my dog's personal space. No, he's not necessarily going to be your BFF. Don't even acknowledge him. That he will respect because you're listening to what he's saying
Right.
until he gets more and he will get that confidence with you. And then if you bring him over to somebody or somebody comes over, hey, mom's saying this guy's cool. I can accept this. Right now, it's hard for him to move past it because you have it in the back of your head that he might do something.
Right.
You're trying to
We
project.
were talking. We were talking about this before, because last weekend I was telling you, and maybe other people want to hear this,
Yes.
that I spent time with my 9-year-old twin grandchildren, and we went for a walk. It was a quieter neighborhood, fewer people, fewer cars and everything, but still, we went for a walk, and both kids were able to walk him with no problem whatsoever. None whatsoever. And I think it's because of the fact that they had nothing preconceived in their mind
Mm-hmm.
that Junior's going to do something or Junior's going to do this, because he gets along with them. They took the leash, and I was concerned. I wanted to hold the leash with them. And then I finally said, no, you can't do that. You got to give them the opportunity and give him the opportunity. And it worked out well. So what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of it is me.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. A
Yeah.
lot of it's probably me.
I hate saying this because I sound like I'm anti-human, but I am human, everybody, just so you all know. But I choose to live more in a dog's world or an animal world. We have the ability to think and replay and do things in our heads that just is such a negative energy to not only the animals around us, to the people around us. And that's why and I've said this for years. Children make my best pack leaders because they don't have a child can look at, and I'm going to pick on them even though I think they're great dogs, pit bulls, and they're not going to look at it. So, oh my God, it's a pit bull. This was a doggy. So the pit bull they don't look at it the way us adults do because us adults are geared to the disaster, if that makes sense. And we need to stop that. That's why we need to change. I want to change the world. I want everybody to have my 4 C's of training: calm, confidence, consistency, control. I kind of read Joyce's comment. The problem, I know you said treats worked with your girl, your dog, with her. Uh, Treats would not work with Junior, from what I understand. If a person came in and wanted to give him a treat, right?
Excuse me, what did you say? I'm sorry.
If a person came into your home after Junior was in a calm state of mind, could a person give him a treat, or he won't
Yes,
even take it?
yes, yes, definitely. He'll
He
take a
will,
treat.
or he won't.
He'll take a treat from anybody. He is so food motivated
Okay.
that you know.
Can the person be like in the scenario you said? You're sitting on the couch, person's in the recliner. If they held the treat, would he come over for it?
He'll go over, take it, and then go right back. Yeah, but he would go over and take it from them. If I encourage, well, I sort of have to encourage him. I do. I have to tell him it's okay, and he'll do it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and be careful with the okay, because you don't want to say it's okay to be insecure. So you,
No,
but
no, no.
use
Okay.
con.
Tell him. I use the word take it. You could take
Right.
it. That type. You know.
Yeah.
But he will
Uh,
take. He will take it. He will take it from somebody else. But then he won't let them touch him, or he
yeah.
won't react more. He'll go right back to the couch on the other side. He is right now.
Okay. So when people were giving him treats, were they trying to give him the treat and right away go to pet him?
No, I have to be honest. A lot of the people are
Okay.
afraid. Are not dog centric. They're afraid of dogs when they come here. So that's even harder too. Some of my, the
Oh,
people with, they're more afraid of the dog than anything. And the thing
yeah.
is, he would never. I don't think he would ever bite anyone. I can't say that for sure. But I could take anything out of this dog's mouth and it would make a difference. Literally, his favorite bone. I could just take it.
Right.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like he's a real good dog. His brain is miswired a little bit because of whatever happened in the 4 years leading up to, well, 3 years before you got him. Because you're trying to instill that confidence in him, and you're trying to get him out into the social world. I think the disconnect right now is, one, stop trying, just do it. Trying to me, the word trying in my mind, I'll try to do it, but I may not succeed,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll try. That's why Nike has the best thing: just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to let go of whatever happened yesterday and live in the moment with him with that calm confidence, and you will see. So before you go out, when you're walking and you're going to cross the street and you're going to get down the block, and at one point he's going to lock up, you're having all this conversation in your head. That's why I said, just go with a vision of where you want to get to, and drive it. Drive that vision with calm
Mm-hmm.
confidence. Let him become a follower, because that's what he wants to be. When you walk with another dog, I think we talked about this a little bit. It's always the human dog, dog, human dog theory,
You mean
right?
when I
Did you
walk with
ever
somebody else?
try with a with another dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you walk with somebody else with another dog,
The
and what I
dog you.
want you to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I said it's usually dog, human, dog.
Right. Okay, and that's great. That's the best way to start it. But what I want you to do at one point, next time you're doing this, go on a nice walk, have a nice conversation with a neighbor or the friend or whoever it is, and then you go in front of them. So now you're walking. It's hard to do this on camera. This way. So
Mm-hmm.
you and Junior are in front. Your neighbor and their dog are behind, not right up Junior's tuchus, though. See how
Mm-hmm.
Junior reacts to that. If he's looking over his shoulder, like, I don't like this, I'm not comfortable. Don't worry about that reaction. And then switch it. Have the other dog go in front and see how Junior is. My guess is when he's behind another dog, he is going to be a lot calmer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an alpha dog. He doesn't want to be in front. That's why I'm saying if he reacts, but wait, where'd that dog go? And looking over his shoulder, disagree with it, because again, who's in charge?
I
You are.
am.
Say, I'm doing this. Trust me. Nope. Let's go. Walk that way for a little bit. Once you get them on a good pace that way, reverse it. Have the neighbor and if they're willing to work with you on this, you know, and see
Uh,
if how
I have a couple
different
of.
he is. Because I do that with a lot of dogs that show these insecurities. Um, And it's so funny. I've worked with dogs that people tell me they are dog aggressive. They want to control every dog. I put them in the front of the pack and they are terrified.
Hmm.
Shows you that they're back of the pack dogs. And a back of the pack dog needs that calm,
Right.
confident pack leader. I'm getting rid of the word assertive, but you still need to be assertive. I'm using confidence to kind of replace it. Because confident, if I'm confident what I'm doing, and I know it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to hurt the other dog, it's not going to do it, what do I have to worry about? What am I
Hmm.
freaking out about? I'm never going to put, in your case, Junior in a situation that should frighten him.
Hmm.
Nothing you
Right.
have done, everything you told me, we chatted 15 minutes before we went live, everything you want the best possible life for him.
Hmm.
You got to
Definitely.
create that with your confidence. You got to create that
Yeah.
with and you can, because guys, I say this all the time. I'm not that damn smart. I just learned how to understand how dogs and animals communicate, and it's not this, but it is with calm confidence. Watch. I tell people all the time. You can probably Google it or YouTube it, whatever the heck it's called in today's world. What Wolves of Yellowstone, and watch how the alpha is calm, confident. You'll see it all over their body. You can't miss it,
Hmm.
and that's how they lead. Yes, you don't mess with the alpha because they're calm, confident. They also know they can kick your, you know what, but they won't kick another dog wolf's butt out of anger.
Hmm.
They won't. They don't have it. We have it. That's why this whole time I left that blurb up there. I don't know if you see it, Phyllis. Energy is the most
Yes, I.
important communication. Um, it really is. But you got to trust yourself
Hmm.
and use your 9-year old grandchildren, the twins. Look at how they did it because they didn't
Hmm.
know how grandma deals with this in the city.
Hmm.
They had no
Hmm.
clue. And if they did, they didn't really understand it, which is great.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, while they were walking the dog, walking him though, he kept looking back to make sure I was there. But I think that was just because
Okay.
he wanted to be sure I was there. You know.
Mhm.
And my
Yeah, but you
grandson
walk.
said to me, my grandson said to me at one point, Grammy, why does he keep looking at you? I said, because you have him, I don't.
Right. And it's important for them to get used to being handled by other people. It is. You got to bring him to a vet. He's got to be handled by a vet.
He's fine with the vet. Hmm.
But again, because the vet probably has a better energy, no offense, than you do.
Right. Hmm.
I work. There was a. I When I first moved down here, it was harder for me to find a vet than it was for a personal doctor because I'm very picky on who's going to touch my dog, more so than I care about who's going to touch me. And one of the vets I worked with, I didn't. When I walked in and they came in, I didn't like the energy. And Zoe is a, a mush. Zoe instantly read the energy and went under my chair. Died. Zoe's the type of dog that when they need to take blood from her, she lifts up paw and gives it to him. This vet's energy made Zoe hide underneath my chair. That was the first and only time I went to that vet
Hmm.
because that his energy was so it overpowered my energy. My energy is pretty good usually, and I could have been. Be honest with you, I was probably nervous too because it's a new vet touching my baby, and I believe me, I'm a human. Zoe is my baby. I just know to treat her like a dog. Then I could spoil the crap out of her. But I really figure out what is important to you. Now, here's the caveat. This is what I've been telling my customers. Make a list of the issues that you have. Like it's very similar to what you did here, but don't just do bullet points, and then prioritize what you want to work on, and focus on one thing that you think is the most important thing, and go in with a good, positive. If you're having a migraine, don't do it that day. Because when you have a headache, it's hard to do anything.
Hmm.
But pick one thing, whatever it is. People coming in the home, getting past that threshold down the block or whatever it is, getting past your stoop coming back to your whatever it is.
Hmm.
Pick one thing, master that, Because if you master that one thing, what you'll see is the other things just kind of go along with it.
Hmm.
But don't try to do all this. Like tonight, we talked about getting people in the house. We talked about the walk. We talked about this. Now I want you to regroup. Pick right bullet point your issue. Hit what you say are his issues. Prioritize them. What you think is the most important, not to him, but what's most important for you, and
Right.
work on that one thing and master it. You've heard me when I talk about my YouTube playlist, how to leash train my dog in 5 easy steps. What do I say? Master episode 1 before you go to episode 2. Master episode 2 before you go to episode 3, and so on and so forth. Um, Wendy, I will get to your question in a second. Phyllis, you may have heard us talk to Wendy. She has a dog that's very insecure, doesn't like the husband very much.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm going to bounce off. I'm going to read this question out loud if it's okay with you, Phyllis.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Hmm.
Okay.
Definitely.
By the way, welcome, Wendy. Um, this is Wendy. In the last 2 days, Frankie has let 3 people into my house calmly and took treats from their hands. Yes, just like that. Still haven't addressed my grandchildren yet because they're loud, quick to move, and only 3 or 4. Okay, so we got to slow it down with the little ones. And makes him nervous. So I have to work on the muzzle theory, absolutely, to get a positive outlook. My husband walked with me, started okay. When I dropped back a few steps, he was aware but moved forward. When I stopped, he just wouldn't continue even with burger treats. Okay, so this is the same type of insecurity we're talking about. He needs Wendy, Frankie needs Wendy to do anything. So it's kind of the same situation we're running into. So again, Wendy, when you see Frankie stop, what I would do, let's change it up a little bit when your husband's walking. And this is the beauty of Mother Nature is we can always adapt to help fix it. So what I would do is I would do the same thing, walk with your husband and Frankie. Husband has the leash, you start back off for a few seconds and then come back. Walk again, back for for a little bit longer, and then come back. So Frankie is starting to learn that hey, mom's backing away, but she's coming back, so I'm okay. Let's continue going with that, and eventually work up to the duration that you stay in the background, if that makes sense. It's going to build his confidence to work with your husband a little bit. Um, and it's okay. I definitely think with the little children right now, definitely muzzle conditioning, guys. I love muzzle conditioning. Matter of fact, I tried playing with camera angles to do a muzzle video. So far, I realized I need to hire somebody a lot younger than me to figure out modern technology. Um, I do want to put a muzzle conditioning video out there. Muzzle conditioning is really, really good because it will definitely make you relax when the grandkids are there. The other thing I would say with the grandkids is whenever they're over there, Frankie should be on a leash close to you. If he
Hmm.
gets excited or nervous because of the children's motions, disagree with them and help him learn how to self-soothe and represent calm. I was telling Phyllis I was working with an Australian Shepherd this week, yesterday, um, purebred Australian Shepherd. When the kids ran around, he was hurting. That was his job. I mean, they got little bite mark, scars on their ankles and stuff. Jumping on the trampoline, this dog would actually literally jump onto the trampoline with the kids to get them the hell off of it, and then would not let them back on because he perceived it as danger. I took the leash. He got excited when the kids went on the trampoline, and literally it was nope. And the rest of the time it was self control. I had the kids running around the yards on leash, and a few times the kids would run by, you'd see the mouth trying to do this, to try to get them, and I'd be like, nope. Took maybe 5 minutes. So what you want you what Frankie to understand is that the kids running around actually represents calm, and that's what I was working on with these people. But you're doing a great job. You let people into
Yeah.
the house. That's fantastic. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Leon, I can give Wendy a little bit of advice. I don't know if it's good advice, but when I first took Junior to my son's house with the twins, of course the kids right away wanted. They had a dog who passed away last January, so they wanted to be with my dog. Of course, he was terrified of them, But what happened was both my son and the kids would talk to him gently. It's a little harder with younger kids, but talk to him gently and give him a treat. He
Hmm.
learned being there for him. So they very often, as like the second or third time I was there, now I go there, it's like he's the dog now. So it took conditioning. It was conditioning with him,
Well,
and
and
also
that.
it goes back to that energy that you talk about all the time. When I'm in a bad
Mhm.
mood or the kids are fighting, he feels it. He knows it. He knows it. When I'm busy with work, he knows it. And right now he's on his back when he wants a belly rub. Um, it's he knows it, and he kind of stays away from me. It's incredible how they're so sensitive to your energy. That's what you're talking about when you say it's the most important communication. My bad energy communicates to him, leave mom alone.
Yeah.
My good
I got
energy
news
says,
for you. What?
but it's very true. You know.
Um, but it's funny you say that. My, Zoe, who is the most balanced dog of most dogs that I've ever owned, when I get into a bad mood because I am human, if I'm mad at my wife, my kids, or something, Zoe normally stays right by me. The other day, I was annoyed at one of my kids. Zoe came into my room and was hiding on my bed, but she wanted to get the hell away from me,
Hmm.
and it makes sense. And you know what the killer, Phyllis? You just said it when you brought Junior to see your grandkids. You did everything based on calm voices, calm. What about people coming into your home? Have you done that same routine? Everybody calm, or is it
Hmm.
always the oh shit? Oops,
A
sorry,
little.
I'm on live.
I think it's just a little different. The thing is,
Yeah.
I think when I first got him, I did listen to you talk about it. I went into the house with him, and he was on his leash. And Bonnie may have even told me to do this, or somebody at the rescue told me to do this. Um, I let him go around their house and smell their house and check out their house before the kids even approached him. I let
Hmm.
him get used to where he was and see that it was a safe place. And
Right.
now I open the car door when I get there in New Jersey, and he goes right out of the car right into the house. It's like, so it's a matter of conditioning for the most part.
Yep. And it's conditioning to have people come into your home
Hmm.
in the same calmness that you expected when he met your grandkids.
Hmm. Yeah,
Use that same theory.
don't I don't get many visitors. That's probably
Yeah.
part of the problem.
Well,
You know.
and I got news for you. During COVID, I mean, we didn't have dogs were not socialized properly,
Hmm.
and there is a lot of issues because they weren't socialized. But if you do everything with calm confidence and slow, again, people ask me all the time, well, how long should this take? I don't know. If I can tell you how long it takes, I charge people a lot more money. You know,
Hmm.
each dog is an individual, but if you look and listen to what they're telling us, you know how far you can push them.
Hmm.
You don't want to push them like you said, from the human point of view. When I deal with an insecure dog, it's like a child that's afraid of the dark. If you visualize that, if I have a child that's afraid of the dark, well, the last thing I'm going to do is shove them into a dark room and lock the door and deal with it. So yes, but what I would do is turn off most of the lights and maybe leave one or two lights on, but condition them to accept the darkness. That's the same thing I'm asking when you to walk by your house. It's not that you're forcing him; you're guiding him through the fear of the dark.
Hmm.
And if we can use human psychology on it, just don't use human psychology on dog. One of my kids was afraid of the dark, what I did is okay, we're gonna leave your bedroom light on, we'll leave the hallway light on. Did that for a few days, a week, whatever it was. Then I got a night light and a little, whatever they're called, the little end table lights. I don't even know what they're called. Um, and I said, well, we're going to turn off the big light, but we're going to leave this light on and your night light on. I'm going to turn the hallway light off. And we did that for a little while. Then eventually the desk lamp, that's the word I was looking for. The desk lamp went off and then they just had the night light and that was fine. But it was slowly desensitizing them, not flooding them. That's why I say, make your list and do one thing. Because a lot of times after I do training or we talk on lives, people try to tackle everything. You can't do that.
Hmm.
Think about going to school. And in 1 hour, you're going to learn math, English, social studies, Spanish, gym in there too, all in 1 hour. You know, pick the one thing. Whatever is most important to you, and master it. Master your energy. And then by next week, when we're doing this again, because I'm not going to be live. I may be, by the way, folks, I may be live Saturday, but from an event, if I'm allowed to bring Zoe. I'm going to be at an event next Saturday. I told you Saturdays are good days down here. It's going to be a car show with vendors, and I'm going to be there with hopefully with Zoe, and maybe go live just for the fun of it. I don't know yet. But next Tuesday night, hopefully we'll get some progress reports because we've been on this for an hour. That was pretty cool. Guys, any questions for either for Phyllis or any guidance for Phyllis or any questions for me on your dogs while we're here? Because we are at the hour, which is great. I love it. But if not, Phyllis, any questions on anything we spoke about tonight?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I'm sure
Well,
when I think about it.
you can always text me, email me, whatever it's called on Facebook. Facebook message me. I'd rather you ask than guess. And of course, anything on video, if you can send me a video of some of the unwanted behaviors and I can actually see it, it'll help us out a lot more too. I did not finalize like I thought I was last week. I thought I was going to finalize my New York trip. This lady is one of the busiest ladies I've ever met. I haven't finalized my July trip yet. I wish I could so I can make plans. But if it's more than the 5 days, I'll definitely make a point to come into Brooklyn as long as I can park my truck somewhere. I'm sure there's parking somewhere.
I can always go to Long Island. I'm
Okay.
there. I'm there.
But if the issues are in the house,
Mm-hmm.
if the issues are in the house, we need to address it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we'll
Right
talk.
Right now, in all honesty, so everybody understand, you're talking about prioritizing things. I'm going to deal with the outside first because people
Yep.
coming into is my least of my worries.
Okay. But when people come in, then if it's not when they do come in, try to practice the routine.
Well, I will anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go look for somebody to come into the house. I'd rather work with him on the outside issues.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you. This was wonderful.
Yeah, Wendy says that she has a feeling that you and her are dealing with the same doggy issues. Maybe I hook you guys up and you can bounce ideas off of each other. But guys, Phyllis, thank you for allowing me to do this and giving me the honor to hopefully help Junior move forward because that's why I do this. I got to change my caption though because this is so important to me. There it is. Together we can help one dog and one family at a time. So Phyllis, thank you very much for allowing me to help you and help Junior. Keep me updated, please. Keep my viewers updated. With that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up for the night. Phyllis, thank you very much. I'm going to cut you off camera so I can do my closing spiel. And if you need me, reach out to me, please.
Thank you, Leon.
Thank
you very much.
Have a great evening. Bye, Junior.
Yeah, he's fast asleep.
Oops. All right, guys. Well, thank you. I hope you guys got some valuable information this week. I really do thank Phyllis for joining us. It's not easy to talk about the problems in front of the world. So hopefully you guys got some good information out of it. I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. I will not be doing my normal live Saturday, maybe doing something else, but I will be live next Tuesday evening. As always, thank you for inviting me into your homes each and every Tuesday evening. It's truly an honor and a privilege and a blessing that I can do this. Stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and we'll see you next week.